here. Welcome to another phenomenal episode of Big Bear Theory. I'm back, baby. I'm back and alive. For those who don't know, I got bit by a spider and almost died. Not really. If I would have waited a few more days, it would have been a lot worse, I guess. But no, I did not die or did not almost die. I was in agonizing pain for a while, and I had to cut my knee open and get all the bad stuff out. But other than that, I'm alive and I'm fine. So thank you all for asking. But I need to yell at you guys for a second, because please enlighten me how the most liked video, or one of the most liked videos, is of my tragic spider bite and me just in immense pain. But yet all the other videos that are supposed to be wonderful and helpful are getting half the likes. You know, I think we need to really situate our priorities here, people. Geez. Now, you know what? At this point, I'm posting all tragedies. Every tragic moment that I have is going on Instagram. That's how we're getting the likes. Shame on you guys. Otherwise, no, I'm just assuming y'all were just shitting in love, and I'm going to take it like love. But, if you happen to see some Dear Diary post, just know that's why. You're the reason. So, thank you all for all the wishes. It was not great the past few weeks. I still technically have a hole in my knee because I had to cut it open. And that was a wild experience. And it still is, because you could, no joke, right now you could take an eraser of a pencil and probably shove that through my knee right now. I've been out of jiu-jitsu for 2 weeks. Might have to be out a third week. And that's disgusting alone. So tragedies all around. But at least I'm recovered, I guess. Silver linings, that whole shenanigans. Whatever it takes. But lo and behold, I'm alive. I feel much better now. I can walk, which is amazing. I can bend my knee, which is amazing. I didn't realize that I like to bend my knees while I was sleeping until I couldn't bend it because I was in agonizing pain. And it was also really fun trying to dodge 3 dogs, especially when they're hungry, going down a tiny hallway, trying not to get hit in the knee. So it was a wild experience. Lo and behold, I hope I never get bit by a spider again. But should you get bit by a spider, you now have an expert that can help you through that. Ring me up. Anyway, Tanner's not here. I don't know, man. We'll see. He's a busy man, and we gotta let him do. But he's doing great. He's absolutely crushing it. And if you're on West Side, give Tanner love and support. Your man is crushing it, and he needs that love and support. So, very, very proud of him. We'll see where he gets back to us, but we are working on it. I don't know. I feel confident, but I don't want to give too much hype for anyone wanting Tan Man to come back, because we never know. But right now, I think he's doing well. I think we're getting things squared away. Maybe we can sneak him in on the next episode, have a little casual Tan Man life, get to talk with him and see how he's doing. Lo and behold, it's me, and I got good stuff. I feel like it's been going really well. The fight, that podcast, that episode did really, really well. Thank you all for your love and support on that. That has had the most downloads in quite a while. And so thank you all very much. I wasn't sure about that one. I actually didn't feel super great about that one. And here you guys are loving it and watching it and downloaded it and everything. So thank you all very much. I'm glad it was good. Glad you loved it. And let's, without further ado, let's just go right into this one. So this one I was trying to think about. Again, I keep trying to think about what I can talk about without Tanner. It's kind of nice having Tanner and talking to him. But this one I feel like is really, really good. And although it's probably good for Tanner. So Tanner, if you're out there listening, this one's for you, bud. So the topic I want to talk about today is something that kind of has to be done in your 20s when you're grinding, but it's not something that you can keep doing, especially when you get old like me into your 30s, especially in your 40s. Because when you're 40, you're ancient. Man, imagine just turning 40. Um, that's a joke that I hope someone gets and calls me out for. But one thing that's pretty crucial to learn at a younger age is knowing how to work hard. And what I mean by that is like learning how to go through the grit of it all. And this kind of translates really well into the fight. But all I mean here when it comes to it's not so much a fight on life, a fight through mentality or anything like that. It's legitimately like working hard, right? Because it's expensive to be an adult, to go on adulting things. Some people have to do this at 18 years old. Some people get a little bit of luxury doing this maybe after college and things like that. But what's important to understand is you're going to have to at some point just work really, really hard to survive, whether that is working a bunch of hours, whether that's going to school, whether it's doing both. Being able to work hard and to kind of grind is super, super crucial, because sometimes the only way to kind of get out of your rut or to even survive in this crazy world is to grind. And that can be very difficult on someone that doesn't have that ability to grind, right? That doesn't have the, I guess really the discipline to push themselves in that mentality every single day, right? So working hard is almost like a skill, because you really are training yourself to do more than what you're kind of like normally doing, right? And I want to say like normally doing, which is either only going to school, right? And doing school things, and maybe like a sport or something like that, or a club. And then, or, if you're in the career world, you got your adult job, everything like that, just doing that job, just doing that 9 to 5 or whatever you're doing, the 8-hour job, 40 hours a week job, and that's like a normal, well-balanced life that you've pushed yourself to do. The thing is trying to get there sometimes requires a lot more grind that we're talking about. We keep calling it, I'm going to call it the grind. Again, this is not the fight. The fight is different. The fight is lifelong. The grind is really, I don't know what else to do other than grind until I figure out what to do to make my life a lot simpler, which, by the way, is the end of this episode, is what we're going to be talking about, how to do that. But sometimes you just have to understand that the only way to get through is to grind through. And certain things hold those factors. A lot of it is usually financial, right? Like I said, it's very expensive to live as an adult. The cost of living right now, just for one person, is $45,000 a year. And the average salary, I looked this up too, not even for this episode, this is just random fun facts that I have. The average salary for a 20 to 25-year-old is $36,000 a year. So it cost about $9,000 more than the average salary of what we're making. And now we understand the problem. Because if my average salary, if my average 40-hour a week job is cutting me $9,000 short to live, then I'm going to have to work more. Or I'm going to have to get a better job, which in some cases, although I don't necessarily agree it's the answer, but in some cases that means going back to school and working at the same time. In other cases, it means working overtime or working 2 jobs or 3 jobs. This is just for one person. We're not talking about if you have a partner or kiddos or multiple kiddos. That dramatically changes things too. And so now all of a sudden your 40-hour a week job isn't working it, or you're having to go back to school, or you're off in college and you realize college is expensive because you have to buy the third calculator for the whatever class, that needs a different calculator than the other two, which is literally what I had to do, by the way. Real example, I had to buy 3 different calculators in my college career alone, which is insane to me. Why can I not just use one and call it a day? But and I understand why, but like still, it's ridiculous. I had to buy 3 calculators, and it's just not cost that you think about when going to college, right? Even the amount of notebooks or like the amount of books that you have to pay for, like none of it just really. You have your tuition, and then like the books aren't really included, right? The notebooks aren't included, the calculators aren't included, the random stuff is just not really included when you're thinking about that. And now you're like, oh, well, I might actually have to work while going to college at the same time, and have to worry about that grind and be able to still pass school and still be able to pay for all this stuff, right? And that's what I'm talking about. There's just going to be certain instances where you're going to have to figure out how to grind through this all. Now, I don't necessarily have like tips or advice, because I think it's more of a mentality. You have to be determined enough to push through this and find the way to grind this out. And there's really no like answer other than that, honestly. But how can we get that mentality, and how can we like stay focused on that? I think that's a much easier way to explain things. And maybe these are the tips, and I'm just like not really like putting things into words properly, I guess. I don't know. I'm tired, guys. It's been a long day. But the one thing that I know for a fact will help you all the most, and if so, I'm going to give you the best advice first. You're welcome. You still better listen to the whole episode, or I swear I'll beat you up. But disciplines are really going to help you. If you can be disciplined, life will be grand. But how do we work on that, right? Because it's a lot of people maybe feel like that, you're either disciplined or you're not, just like people like procrastinate or they don't, for me, instance, I procrastinate. It's just like my life. That's all I do. And it works well for me. But I think what has helped me do that has been for the fact that I am disciplined enough to like really lay down the hammer when I need to lay down the hammer, right? When I need to get my work done, when I need to get the job done, I make it happen, and I'm able to do that. So, but when I talk about discipline, I've talked to many people about this. This is like one of my most grand speeches. Is how many of you guys have had a New Year's resolution, or maybe even know of a New Year's resolution? Know someone that made a New Year's resolution that lasted maybe like a month or two, and then it didn't work, right? The New Year's resolution was never met. And I truly believe the reason why people don't meet New Year's resolutions as often as they should is because they're doing about it in the wrong way. And we'll go over the most common. One of the most absolute common New Year's resolutions on the face of the planet is I'm going to work out. I mean, that's for real. Like, right? That's pretty much everybody's resolution. Everyone's like, working out's the thing. Working out's the answer. If you work out, you're automatically successful. Successful people work out, blah, 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 blah. But it's true. I mean, a lot of people do it. They either do it to be more successful. They do it to like essentially be more disciplined. They do it to for health reasons, obviously. But the thing about that is when people try to work out to, as their New Year's resolution, what are they doing? They're doing 3 to 5 workouts a week. And if you've gone your whole year, right, or most of your whole year not working out, and your whole schedule has been based off of waking up, maybe doing whatever, and doing school, doing work, coming home, whatever, if it didn't consist of working out, Your whole like schedule is already planned around not working out. You've done all the things that are not working outable. And so then you're going to go in and you're going to add working out to a schedule that has never involved that. So what happens? You wake up early. Well, now you're tired. And then you go work out. Now you're more tired. And then now your crash that happened at like 3 or 4 now happens at 1 or 2. You're sore. You can barely sit down. You're, or you work out after work and now you kind of like lost like the free time that you had. So now you feel like you don't have free time. There's all these things that have completely changed now that you're working out 3 to 5 days. So you're not only has your schedule changed, you can barely walk because you've been working out and there's just so much pain. And it's just like, is it worth it? And it just doesn't really feel like it's worth it in the end. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm too sore. I'll go tomorrow. Or, it's too early. I'm going to sleep in, catch up. I'll work out tomorrow. And this is the first big fail when it comes to maintaining discipline. Because you can always do it tomorrow. And that example and that phrase always seems to find its way into our mentality. So I want to twist this. This would be a great New Year's resolution. Man, I really probably should have saved this episode for like December. Maybe I'll bring it back or highlight this one, because for my people trying to set New Year's resolutions, this is what I recommend that you do. And I'm still going to use the workout one, but it's not going to be, I'm going to start working out. I want your New Year's resolution to be, I'm going to work out for 15 minutes every week. 15 minutes. That's it. That's all I want you to do. 15 minutes workout every week. And this is something that we find really interesting, right? Because it's 15 minutes. We can do anything for 15 minutes in a week. There's a lot more minutes in a week than 15 minutes. And it's only 15 minutes, and it's only once a week. So we find our least busy day, whatever that may be. Could be a Saturday on a weekend. We start a weekend off strong. We wake up, we sleep in, we wake up and we go work out, whatever. But we just find a day that like just suits us, that just has like a good rhythm to that 15-minute workout. And then we do that 15-minute workout, and we do whatever you're capable of. Highly recommend. There's like a Nike fitness app, I think, like that. It's completely free. They have a lot of workouts, anywhere between like 10 minutes to an hour. So if you're looking for that, there you go. There's a little pro tip. But, you do your 15-minute and you just do that once a week. So now, instead of going 3 to 5 times a week, I'm doing a 15-minute workout. And when I do a 15-minute workout, sure, I may be sore, but it's not going to be anything like super crazy. Especially, if I'm doing, like I said, Nike Fitness app is a great app, by the way. And it has like easy, moderate and hard workouts. So like you can really maintain your level of strain on your body so that you can walk the next day, or at least maybe feel a little bit sore, but not destroyed. But then you recover from that a lot faster, right? And because I'm only doing it once a week, I'm doing on a day that I'm most well rested. I'm doing on a day that I can get rest the next day, and boom, it's in my routine, right? So then I do that for a month. And what I want you to kind of realize is after that month, you're going to see like 15 minutes really isn't too bad. What if I did another day of 15 minutes? So 2 15-minute days. And let me just play with that. So then I find another day that's really not too bad. Again, maybe it's, Sunday on top of Saturday. Maybe it's Monday. I try to start my day off well, or end my day off well on that, whatever it may be. You find your day, doesn't matter. But your goal is you end up doing another day. So now I have not broken my New Year's resolution. In fact, I have added to my New Year's resolution. I've now going 2 days. My whole New Year's resolution was 1. Now I'm doing 2. And that allows you to see actual impact that it's having on you. Because now we're doing 2 days, right? And that is going to have a little bit more impact. But is it attainable? Is it tolerable? Does it work for us? And you'll find that when you add that second day, there's going to be a little bit of uncomfortability. But it's not going to be so much that you completely change it. And what's going to happen is one of 2 things. You do that second workout, life is good, life is grand, and that's what we wanted. Or we just realize, I did this on Monday. I don't think I want to do Mondays. Let me switch this to like Tuesday or Wednesdays, right? You just find a different day until it works. Like you're going to be able to kind of see when these openings come up as you because you can't plan for everything, right? Sometimes it feels like Monday was the day, and then you realize actually Wednesday makes a lot more sense after you experience how crazy Monday was. And so then you just shift those days, but guess what? You're still getting we got Wednesdays now, and we've got Saturday morning, right? And those are 2. And then you do that for like a month or so, and maybe that works for you, and maybe that's all you need. And you know what? Guess what? Congratulations, you doubled your New Year's resolution goal, and that's our whole point, right? And we didn't quit after 2 or 3 months. But maybe, just maybe, we up our workouts to 3 15-minute workouts, or we change our workout time from 15 minutes to 30 minutes to see how that impacts us, right? And now we're getting a full hour a week. And what you see is you just start building these, just start taking these building blocks and putting them in places to just get you to not feel like you just slammed a whole, I think of it more like a bookmark, right? When I set my New Year's resolutions into my book of life, right? I have a bookmark where I can still kind of close the book. The book is still there, right? But if I just shove a rock as my bookmark and I try to close the book, well, that's going to ruin my book, and it's not going to. When I pull that rock out, I'm going to see that gap in the page, right? And I'm not going to like that because that ruins my book. But if I use like a bookmark, a small little bookmark, and I start marking my pages, well, then that's not going to really impact my book and how it looks, whether I take the bookmarks out, whether I put more bookmarks in. The pages are still going to be good. So book being my life, bookmarks being the workouts, that's the idea. You don't want to throw a rock into your life and see, expect your book of life to be good. So we add things in increments that allow us to really understand what we're sacrificing as we add these disciplines into our life, as we add the New Year's resolution into our life, right? And that's what I want to go at. So start small, real small, and then work your way up to the big leagues, because you always have New Year's resolution year 2 to add more than that. What is wrong with doing 2 workouts a week for 15 minutes each workout, so 30 minutes total for an entire year? And absolutely is nothing with that. And it's far better than working out 3 to 5 days a week for 3 months and then totally quitting and not doing anything because it didn't fit. And it wouldn't. It shouldn't. It doesn't make sense. You've been living your whole life not in that way. Why would you then make such a vast change? And some people do, and some people can, and there's massive kudos to those who can. But I think for the normal person, if you're just trying to work on being disciplined, and like I said, I know I'm using working out, but this could be for anything. It could be quitting smoking, could be eating healthier, could be all of these things, but it doesn't really matter too much. It just matters that you do it in small increments and see what you can do with those small increments. It is far better to take small steps to the end result than it is to try to immediately go to the end result. You can't not finish a marathon in one step, period. And life is a marathon. Your goals, your resolutions, all of that is a marathon. And so many people try to finish a marathon in one step. And no matter how hard you try, no one in this world can do a marathon and complete it in one step. So stop trying to do that. The next thing that I would recommend would be to set milestones for yourself, right? So we go with, the 15-minute workout and we just have that be our resolution. Then our next milestone would be year 2. I add another workout or I make the workout longer. And in year 3, I add another workout and I make it longer, whatever the milestones are, so that eventually I can get to 3 to 5 days working out, whatever it may be. Right. So this is how to play and create the building blocks to add stuff in your life that make you a more disciplined person. But know that it doesn't even have to be this. And other things that you can do that kind of help build disciplined things. And this is one of my absolute favorite strategies of all time. And I'll tell you how I've manipulated this a little bit too. But everyone in this world, there's no way you have not. I mean, if you haven't seen it, check it out. But I want to say it's like a Navy SEAL admiral or maybe just a Navy admiral. I apologize. Maybe I should have looked up the video before I brought it up. But there's a section that he talks about, and it's called Make Your Bed. And if you haven't seen it, it's about 5 minutes long. There might be like a really actually long version of it, but my favorite video is really just like the 5-minute long video, covers everything really, really well. And all the credit goes for him. But he essentially says that making your bed allows you to accomplish a couple of different things, which is one, it's something that you can do every day. And it allows you to say that you accomplished something. If you accomplished nothing else, you at least made your bed. And it is something you can always come home to, knowing that your bed is made, right? So it's kind of like this last hurrah. It's something that you don't have to do, but if you do it, you're working on discipline and you can say you accomplished something today. And sometimes this really has been crazy. Like, when you get into bed, when you get into a freshly made bed, I don't know what it is, but it really is true. Like getting into a freshly made bed is far more enjoyable than piles of blankets and everything messed up. And I think that's like weirdly true. And I don't really know why there's truth behind that, but I genuinely think it's true. And so I listened to this video. I thought it was incredible. And I decided, why not try it? Because I never used to make my bed. My parents can totally vouch for this. I thought it was stupid. Didn't make sense to me. I was going to mess it back up, right? That's the normal thing. But what I started to notice was it was fine when everything was going well, right? It was actually really easy to make my bed because I was waking up a little bit earlier to make sure it was made. It was fine. Like it wasn't that much harder. It took like 2 minutes, I think. I mean, I just have to walk around from one side to the other, have a king size bed now, big boy bed. Well, and I found what was difficult was when things were not good. Let's say I was late to work, for instance, probably the most possible reason, or late to school would be actually late. I was probably more late to school than I was late to work. Let's be real. But then I did not want to make my bed. I needed to go. I needed to get out. And that was really interesting to me, was I had to decide to either rush and hope that I wasn't late or be even later to make my bed. And it was weird because I felt like I was kind of breaking I was either breaking one discipline or the other, which was either to not be late, which is a discipline, or to make my bed, which was a discipline that I was working on. And so then this was really interesting to me because I was like, man, what's the right answer? And truth be told, I think at the moment there is no right answer, right? You either break the discipline of making your bed or you break the discipline of being late. And so what I did was I still made my bed. And I don't really know if this is the right answer, there's probably a super massive philosophical question that we could ask ourselves. It'd be great if Tanner were here, slacker. But I ended up making my bed anyways because that was the discipline I was working on, right? And I think what was intriguing for that was because I did that, I think it still improved my level of discipline because I intentionally continued to do that. So even though I broke my discipline of being late, I still intentionally followed the discipline of making my bed. And what I did afterwards was I really started making sure that I woke up earlier. I stopped hitting snooze as much to avoid the situation of basically putting myself in that situation of to be late or to make my bed. And then that was really intriguing to me is I started seeing that I started waking up not earlier, but I stopped hitting snooze nearly as much to ensure that I could both be on time and make my bed at the same time. And now there are still moments where I'm a little bit late and I want to dip, but I still always make my bed as a reassurance of the discipline to that needs to be done. And now what was crazy, and this is the thing that I want to get across, is it actually feels wrong of me not to make my bed nowadays. Like I'll walk into my bed. I realize I didn't make it because I don't necessarily make my bed right away when I wake up. Like I usually, wake up and I like make food or whatever. And then like usually like before I leave or before I start my day, that's when I make the bed. Right. But I do other things. I don't make it right away. But that's the thing is like it has to be made, and I have found myself that it feels more difficult, more weird for me to not make my bed than make my bed. Like that is how I start my day. That's my accomplishment for the day. We talked about it. So this is the unique point. I wouldn't say the unique point. I would say this is the point that you want to be in when it comes to doing these little disciplines. And that's, again, the point here is that it's a little discipline. I don't know if I really kind of emphasized that in the beginning, but you want to be really disciplined. You need to have a lot of little disciplines. So you start off by doing something that is kind of tedious, kind of out of the way, but it's still beneficial in some sort of way. Very, very simple, right? Making your bed. And when it gets to a point where it becomes a part of like your routine, when it gets to a point where it feels wrong to not do it, then you passed. Congratulations. And once you've done that, you can now move on to another discipline. And I realized this was where I was missing is I forgot to start like doing other disciplines. And one thing I started doing was jiu-jitsu. Hashtag insert jiu-jitsu here. Although I'm pretty sure I inserted it at the intro, but it's introduced again. But that I have to be disciplined with, right? Because if I don't go continuously, like I'm never going to get like great or like any better. I'm just going to be like plateaued. There's disciplines within jiu-jitsu. Well, like if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, it's not by doing what you're good at, it's by doing what you're not good at. And being disciplined enough to work on the positions that you're not good at. So a whole tangent. I'm going to avoid it. You're welcome. Trying to stay on time here, but we could talk about it at a different time. Lo and behold, but that was a discipline is to make sure I go to jiu-jitsu. I got to condense my work. I got to make sure I get all my work done so that I have the ability to have enough free time to do jiu-jitsu. So now I'm working on this discipline, which is probably one of the funniest ones, but it is honestly, I say it's funny because it's probably one of the hardest things that I have to continuously force myself to do day in and day out, which is moisturize my face and lotion my tattoos after a shower. And I know anyone wants to judge me over here for moisturizing my face, so you can back off because I've had people say that I am a beautiful human and look far younger than 31. Although, granted, technically, the Savannah Watley said I was 41 years old the other day, but we're going to exclude that. Don't appreciate that, by the way, Savannah. You're fired. And you've heard it here first. But, I don't know. My face always got really dry. And after a shower, especially in wintertime, someone said moisturize. I started moisturizing. I no longer have a dry face. So it works, whatever. And it makes me stay beautiful and young. And I'm going to look so much more ruggedly handsome than others out there. You know, Mark would be a great example, jiu-jitsu instructor. Hideous. You should moisturize. So just saying, there's a little pro tip, Mark. But yeah, so I do it. I don't care. I'm not ashamed. If anyone asks what I use, you can comment down below. Give it a like. But and then lotion my tattoos, which I used to be really good at, and for some reason, all of a sudden, I'm just like, I don't want to do it anymore. I think it's because I got the leg tat, you know. So now it's like my arm, but then I gotta go all the way down, like lotion by the back of my calf. It honestly may just be that I'm just lazy, but that's kind of the point, right? The disciplines are there to help you battle your lazy self, because I don't know if it's our brains or our bodies, but one of them, maybe if not both, we want to be lazy. Like naturally, we're lazy. We're lazy creatures, I guess you could say. Why do you think comfort and luxury are such high point selling items? Why do you think working out is so hard? You know, why do you think doing anything? We don't really enjoy doing anything other than probably sitting down and doing nothing. You know, and the reason for that is because we want to be lazy. And then yet at the same time, being lazy is ultimately what hurts us the most. You know, you want to know the difference between a 70, 80-year-old that's doing, walking around and dancing and doing Zumba versus the 70, 80-year-old that can barely stand up for more than 5 minutes. And I would say, other than, excluding any medical conditions and things like that, most of it is usually because they were not active. The one that is active, the one that never stopped working out or going on walks or water aerobics or any of that, those are people still walking around doing fine today. Are they doing 10 seconds, 100-yard meter dashes? Absolutely not. You know, they're running 5-minute miles? Absolutely not. But you know what? They're still moving, they're kicking, and they're grooving. And there are other people that are not. And a lot of that has to do with just purely being active. A lot of that has to do with just being disciplined and sticking to disciplines and things like that as well. So what I'm trying to say here is this whole disciplinary factor, this whole being able to grind out requires discipline, and it requires little disciplines. And so every single day, even though it's driving me nuts, it still hasn't gotten to a point where it feels out of routine not to do it, is lotioning my arm, moisturizing my face. And I will continue to do that and forcing myself to do that until it feels worse not to do it than it does to do it. And I think I'm almost there. We're working on it. But I encourage you to find these little, it could be anything, guys. It really doesn't matter. It just needs to benefit you in any small amount of way. And it needs to be something that you can do every day. And that could be reading a book. It could be reading 2 pages of a book. It could be waking up 10 minutes earlier. It could be making your bed. It could be eating one healthy piece of food. It doesn't matter. Just find a discipline. Hobbies. This is what hobbies are really great for, because they, you still have to go, but then once you go to that hobby, or once you start doing that hobby, then you're enjoying it and you're doing it longer than you even anticipated to do it. And this is when you can get to this point, then you can start to kind of self-motivate yourself. You can hold yourself accountable instead of others holding accountability for you, right? And this is the big difference, is when you can maintain these disciplines, you're going to be able to grind so much harder for a lot longer period of time, because you just understand what it takes. You understand how to wake up early. You understand how to start your day. You understand how to push forward. You understand how to just keep moving, because you're disciplined enough to keep moving in that direction until it's done. But there's only so much you can do before you can't grind as hard as you can. There's no way. And I look back and it's crazy, but even 5-6 years ago, like there's no way I could have done that. I can't do it now. There's just nope. But I could do it then. And I needed to do it then. And I was motivated enough to do it then for 2 reasons. One, I'm stubborn asshole. So I'm going to do it regardless. But 2, because ultimately, regardless of me being stubborn and me trying to be my best at it, I had no choice. It was either grind and live off of $25 a week for groceries because that's all I could afford, or I was done. That was it. Like, I didn't really have another option. Not one that I was going to do. So, in order to grind, you have to be disciplined enough to continue the grind. You have to be strong enough to be able to push through the kind of the sleep deprivation, the mental exhaustion, and all these things. You're going to have to like continue fighting through that. And you really need to understand what that's like, because there are going to be different points in life where you're going to have to grind, and grinding is really the only answer. And sorry, but like no one's really going to help you with that except for you. But there is, and here's the silver lining, a way to stop grinding day in and day out. And that is by starting to, instead of working harder, is working smarter. And this is the hardest thing, I think, to kind of learn as you transition from like grind phase to I ain't built for that anymore phase. And so this can be used work life, this can be used personal life, this can really be used in any perspective you want. It's very just generic advice here. But when you can find a way to kind of automate burdens, right? Or that's even a thing of things is usually what gets us like really, really stressed is when there kind of comes like this funneling effect where like there's all this I have to do, but I only have this amount of time to do it, right? Just real small amount of time. And it's a funneling effect. So the idea is, instead of just trying to shove all of this into this tiny funnel, hoping to get it done, and just being exhausted in the process of doing that. And honestly, it's still not being like done in a relatively effective way. It's just getting done. What if I added more funnels? So instead of all this going into and coming in and out of one funnel, what if I added like 3 extra spouts? Like how much more could come out and with a lot less force if I just created multiple funnels? And that's ultimately what we learn to do as we try to kind of work smarter rather than harder. So work for me is kind of like the best way to do this and kind of explain is, and so I'll kind of give like a work one, and then I'll give like a personal one, and I'll kind of round it all up into one giant sweet spot, the final carrot that brings it all together, just to keep you on a little bit longer. But work really is, I think a lot of it is understanding what to do that needs to be done right now, and what can be done by you initiating something and then kind of like letting it play in the background while you do something else. So it's kind of like delegating, I guess, in a sense. And delegating is a great way. And if this is kind of, it's there, like delegating is an option, but it's just not really where I'm going with in regards to this instant, because I'm trying to like really more focus on like self, right? But obviously delegating would help you if, delegate this and this and this, and those 3 things are being done, then I can now do this, right? And so like it is that. But what I'm trying to say is is if you look at your to-do list, right? If you made a to-do list of what you're trying to do today, there are things that like you can do right off the bat, really easy. Boom, 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 done. And then there are some things where it's like you can do like part of it, but then you kind of need like another person or another action to take place before you could finish it. And you'll see that there's like a couple of those. And then there's stuff that you're honestly waiting on something else before you can even start it. There's kind of like those three things, right? So usually what I do is I like to find the things that if I can just like basically hit play, those things can be done and the other people can kind of work on them while I work on my things that I can do right now, right? And then the stuff that I'm just waiting on before I can even start, well, that's also something that I can do right now. So it'll go kind of like something like this. All the stuff that I'm waiting on someone else. I'm going to say, hey, checking in, when will this be done? What can I kind of expect this by? Just reminding you about XYZ, whatever professional way I want to, explain that or talk to that person about. And then I go on and I say, hey, guys need this, if, I've gotten to this point. If y'all can get to this point right here, then I will finish it up for you guys. Right. And now I've kind of done my part. I've sent it off and now that's playing in the background, right? There's nothing more I can do. I got to wait for other people to do it. And then I can just kind of work on my to-do list and it's like, okay, boom, did that. Boom, did that. It's just the stuff that I can do. That's the stuff that I'm doing right then and there. So then what happens is while I'm doing my stuff, people are like getting their stuff done before I'm even finished with my to-dos, my ones that I can do, right? But that allows me to then like look at my phone, see the progress, look at the email, whatever, and see that, okay, now it's done. And now I can add in the rest of my stuff and I can start doing that. And so I've established the ability to do multiple things at the same time. This is not multitasking. This is different. I'm not multitasking. I'm just completing multiple tasks at the same time by structuring myself to pass off certain tasks that I can no longer like add contribution to. I have initiated or reminded tasks that I cannot do until I get stuff back. And then I have completed my task that I now like only I can do. And when you structure things in this manner, you're able to achieve a lot more in a lot less time. And that's kind of like how you maximize your day, right? So there's the work concept, right? The life concept is really balancing the work and the personal and all that life together. So I'll use me as an example for my life, right? My job is very busy. And there's some days where I just have to work like a crazy long day, which is what I did today. I'm at like 12 hours right now. And that just is what it is. But for the most part, I wake up, I feed my dogs, I make myself breakfast, and then I work, I do whatever work things I do, but I kind of structure, my day about, I like to warm up. So my warm-ups are the emails, right? Very easy stuff to do. So I get my emails out of the way. And then, I have certain meetings. I know those are going to happen. So I got to make sure I get all those in. And then, pretty much by like 6:30, I like to stop and chill. And then that's when I go to jiu-jitsu, right? Because I needed to decompress from all that, right? I did a lot of work. I did a lot of things, solved a lot of problems. Like I'm tired. And I also did a lot of leading, right? Because I'm a director, so it's a lot of like pushing down. And what I really love about jiu-jitsu is I'm no longer a leader. Like I'm learning, right? I have my own leader to look up to, ask the questions and things like that too. And I get to decompress, right? And then after that, Casey gets to do jiu-jitsu with me. So I'm very grateful. I have a really cool wife who does jiu-jitsu with me. And so that's like, my decompression mode, but also like my bonding time with my wife. And that's really important to me. And then, we get home, Casey and I make dinner, and it's just us, it's our time together. And I don't usually let work calls, like, unless it's an absolute emergency, like I'm not responding to work, I'm not doing anything along those lines. I'm just, I'm just enjoying my time with Casey and my dogs. And I truly set that value on that life, so that not like I don't spend 100% of time with my wife, right? She's got her own job, and I don't spend 100% of time playing with my dogs. I don't spend 100% of my time doing work, and I don't spend 100% time doing jiu-jitsu. But I have found a way to kind of structure myself and my life so that I get my self time, which is jiu-jitsu. And honestly, anytime I eat, I don't know why, but I've kind of made eat like my kind of like spiritual time. Like it's like the only way I can explain it. Like if I'm eating, we're not talking about work, and everyone knows this, and it's really funny. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And they hear me eating, like, oh, I can call you later. And I'm like, thanks. And sometimes that's okay, but but yeah, I don't work while I eat. I just eat. But I don't work endless hours. So some days it just requires it. But I've really structured myself to not work crazy amounts of hours so that I can spend time with my family. And that's the point. This is the whole point that I'm trying to get to, is you need to structure your life so that you're doing stuff for your job, because job is what pays the bills. Stuff with your significant other, or if you don't have a significant other, your family or friends. And then, oh gosh, what I have to repeat. So work pays bills, significant other, friends, family, and yourself, your personal life, your own self, your decompression time, your spiritual time, whatever it may be. And you need to have all three of those in your routine, which is, by the way, the bundle that I was talking about again. The bundle to truly being able to work smarter is by setting a routine for your life. If you can make a routine for your life, you will have a lot more freedom than should you not build this routine. And this is really crazy to think, because we think routines as restrictions, right? We think of them as, I have no freedom within a routine. But in reality, the freedom is what gives the routine is what gives you that freedom, because you're scheduling the freedom within your routine. So people are looking at routines all wrong. They're thinking, oh, I got to do work, and then I got to do this. And it's like, oh, I have no time for myself. Well, newsflash, people. If you want time for yourself, schedule it in your routine. And guess what? When you add it in your routine, you can now abide by it because it's in the routine. And thus you can enjoy yourself, your personal life, your wife, your kids, your dogs, whatever, your partner. When it's built into the routine, you're good. And a lot of people, I think, truly struggle with this because, again, it's grind, gotta work. But it doesn't have to be work. Because if all you're doing is waking up, working, going to bed, working, you're not giving yourself any time, you're not giving your partner, your family, your friends any time, and all you're doing is work. And not only is that completely mentally straining on you, but it strains the relationships that you have around you. And I just don't think that's worth it. Why do all this grinding? Why do all this work if you got nothing to spend it on? And if your job really demands that much of you, then you need to find a way to put it in the routine so that you still get yourself time for you, time for your family and your loved ones, and time away from the job. Because if you don't, everything's really going to fall apart in the end. And all you do is get to look back and go, why? And that's all you'll be able to do. Because it won't be worth it. Not if it costs you everything. So if you got a hard job, find a way to condense it. I mean, look, I am technically working late. I'm kind of going against my own rules, but you know what? Do you think I'm going to be working another super long day till, I mean, geez, it's almost midnight when I'm recording this, but do you think I'm going to be doing this every day? No. My day is pretty much 8 to 5, and then 8 to 6 maybe, or 9 to 6, somewhere around there, and then jiu-jitsu, and then spend time with family and go to bed. And then every now and then there's like a couple days like this that just kind of get put in there. But for the most part, that's it, dude. And then that's tangible, and it works just fine. And then, like, I'm living my life. I'm doing great things because of it. So if I can do it, like, really anyone can. If CEOs of major multi-million billion-dollar companies can schedule a routine life to do these things, then anyone can do it. And the CEOs that aren't doing it, that are just making it work, you know what? They're not happy. And they're not doing it right. Because it's not about just doing it yourself and making it happen 24/7. It's no way to live. I think you may have to do that in your 20s as you try to, like, figure it out and get your $25 a week grocery budget. But I think if you're truly trying to master your life, you're truly trying to grow, you're truly trying to be successful, and you need to find a way to find routine within your work life, within your personal life, and your life in general, so that you can focus on work while you're working, and you can focus on your family when you're not, and yourself. So I highly encourage you to make a routine. And it starts off real simple. What do you have to do? What has to be done? Sunday through Saturday. What has to be done? And then you start filling in the pieces. When can I spend time with family? What do my days look like there? What can I do to myself? Or when's available? Is 12 to 1 available where I just eat lunch for an hour and I just chill I just enjoy my time with myself? Or is that the time that I enjoyed with my friends, right? And I go out to eat with them or whatever. Is Saturday, one Saturday every month, is that a time where I can just literally just go and be with family or be with friends, or go out, date nights, very important, right? And you just plug in, what has to be done, plug in the stuff that you need to do for yourself, whether that's my 15-minute workout for the week, whether that's weekly date night, whether that's jiu-jitsu, #do jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. But then you just start plugging in, okay, this is for me. Now I need stuff for my family. And I go, okay, I can put it in on Wednesday. That can be my family. I call my parentals. I don't know. Whatever it is. But there's nothing wrong with having that routine and just abiding by that. Because it gives you structure and it gives you the freedom and it gives you the, okay, I'm cutting it off. Boom, done. Because all these emergencies, there's always an emergency, by the way. And this is one of the hardest things I've learned. There's always going to be another emergency. There's always something, And there are instances where the emergency takes over the routine. But in most cases, sometimes what I want you to think about is, can it be done tomorrow? There's two things I want you to think about. Is, if I did it right now, does it change anything? Or if I did it tomorrow, would it change anything? And as it's kind of just like, think about it. If I did this right now, would it have any impact? other than take time away from my routine. Or the other way of looking at it is, if I did this tomorrow, would it affect anything? Because a lot of times it'll be like, hey, like I got a question. Well, I don't really need to answer a question. I don't. You may need the answer, but sorry, it's 8 o'clock. I'll answer the question tomorrow when I'm working. Could be that, my tire popped. Well, I should probably go help that today because I can't help it tomorrow because then they're stuck overnight, right? So what day does it impact? But if it can be done tomorrow with zero impact on today, then it really doesn't matter. And that's something that you can hold off. The other thing, and this is something that's really important for the upper leaders, is if you feel like you're the only one capable of fixing problems, you have set your team up for failure. You, as a leader, should be able to set up your team so well that when you are incapable of answering the question or solving the problem, that they are confident and independent enough to solve that solution just like you would. That is the definition of a very good and strong leader, is when you have built people below you to handle situations just like you would when you were not there. So again, I'd much rather work smarter, creating a strong team around me so that they can operate without me. I always tell everybody this. I was like, put me out of a job. I want you to be so much better than me that my bosses don't even know why they have me. And y'all put me out of a job. Because that's my duty as a leader, is to set them up to be so successful that they are better than I am. I don't care if you're better than me, dude. And everyone's like, oh, well, what? Like, aren't you worried about them taking your job? No. Do it. Take my job. Challenge accepted. It does two things. One, it gives them a goal. And two, keeps me from getting complacent. If I got Jimmy over here and he's just absolutely crushing it and he's able to do my job for me, you think I'm going to be lazy? I'm going to be busting my butt to make sure that I'm still sitting in my seat. What if he still outperforms me because I just simply made him bigger, faster, stronger than I am? Am I really going to get demoted for that? Or do you think I'm going to get promoted so that I can make more, bigger, faster, stronger people than I am? And every time I say it, and I've lived a life, every time I have made someone bigger, faster, stronger than I am, I have been promoted and they have been promoted at the same time. Because here's the thing. What happens when you really, really want a promotion, but no one can replace you? You think you're going to get the promotion? Or do you think someone else is going to get the promotion? But what happens when a promotion's available for you and you say, I got Jimmy, Susie, and Sally. All three of them could take my job. Take your pick. Doesn't matter. Well, now I have 3 times the odds for someone to replace me, do the job that I've been doing very, very well. And they can do it better than I can. So that promotion is looking a lot more favorable in my position because my boss doesn't have to think about replacing me. In fact, my boss has to deal with the problem of which of my 3 golden children to actually pick. But as far as who gets the job that I'm looking at, well, it's pretty obvious it's me. So we build ourselves to pushing into that matter, right? And maybe I kind of pushed into a different, so we'll cut it off there. But it's just stuff to think about. You want your job to work better. You got to build a routine for yourself. And I really think that last little bit was good, especially if you're in a leadership role, managerial, whatever. If you're in a leadership role, you need to make your team successful. and you need to focus purely on their success. If you help them grow, you help them be to a point where they are far better, higher caliber than you are, this is what you need to do, because then they can solve their own problems with or without you. So in that case, you can do one of two things. One, you're either not available and the problem is solved, the situation's fixed, or you have your cutoff time. It's now time to do jiu-jitsu or spend time with your family. And guess what? You get to do that. And that's the point. And now you can actually enjoy your life. And now you can actually breathe away from the grind. You can rest, which is the goal. So, good little end right there. Thank you all for listening to me. I kind of weeded all over the place. I think I brought it all back together though. I'm very good at that. I feel like I just like literally like I like shoot it all out and then like start grabbing it all and kind of like putting it all back into pieces. I don't know. It just whatever. Y'all get over it. Thank y'all very much again. Like I said, the fight did really well, that podcast episode. So I really appreciate it. Thank you all for love and support in regards to my spider bite. Posting it up into Barefoot World. We were supposed to do Barefoot Bash June 4th over in Little Elm, Sand Beach volleyball courts, but apparently all the rain that we've had totally flooded the whole courts. Like literally only like one court is visible. You can't even see where the lake starts and the volleyball courts end. It's really crazy. So that's actually going to get pushed to June 11th, 8 p.m. Okay, June 11th, 8 p.m. is when that's going to be. Class is still going on. Pools are open. We are crushing it. I want to give a huge shout out to all the Barefoot managers out there. You guys are absolutely crushing it. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the LGIs out there that work for Barefoot. You guys are crushing it. This is the best training, best management, best operations I've ever seen. Give yourself an absolutely massive shout out. You guys are absolute legends. I'll make sure to try and tag as many of you as I can find on Instagram, but massive, massive kudos to you guys. You guys have completely evolved this company, and I could not be any happier. So thank y'all very much. Last but not least is our followers on Instagram. Now, thankfully, it's been a while, so got actually lots of names to come up with. But again, thank you to everyone that follows us, gives us love and support, gives us likes, follows, subscribes, comments. Please do so. This helps. Starting off, our first new follower is Reagan Whittle, my homie over there. Great human, and has a huge, awesome, super badass story about being an awesome Barefoot manager. Has absolutely wrecked it already today, just crushing this year off strong. So big shout out to you, Reagan. Good job. Connor Antonio, thank you for the follow. Asher, I believe that's Jiu-Jitsu Asher. Super wild dude. This man, like, I think it was like 6 months in as a white belt, wins gold during a competition. Absolutely insane. So shout out to him. My boy Henny, man, love Henny. If that's my jiu-jitsu friend, Henny. Super fun role, blue belt. I'm gonna get you in another crucifix. I don't care what you say, good sir. You're going down. Hunter Jackson, thanks for follow. Another remarkable human, good monitor, good manager. Does everything well. He's got a sick shin tattoo. I wonder how painful that felt. But super cool. Avery Laventure, thanks for the follow. Maria Gonzalez, BJJ Executive. That's kind of cool. Thanks for following. I hope you like the jiu-jitsu comments that we have in here. And then last but not least is Caden. So thank you for the follow, Caden. You want to get your shout outs, you want to be you want to be Instagram famous for a little bit, feel free to follow us. You can follow us on Instagram, on Facebook. You can also subscribe to us on YouTube. We get any of those extra people, I will always give you a shout out. You guys support us, so obviously we want to give you a shout out, say thank you, and love and support y'all. Other than that, the last thing I have is Mad Rabbit tattoos. Should you get all these wonderful tattoos, you want to get them a lot longer, the balm is my absolute favorite. Makes it look really, really shiny, really, really pretty. Lotion's really good too. I actually really like the lotion. Feels nice. And the sunscreen. Sunscreen is surprisingly last a really, really long time. That was something I like really noticed was how long the sunscreen actually lasted and stayed on. So very, very impressed by the sunscreen. So it's 30 SPF. It's not as strong as I thought it would be, but I'm telling you that stuff works really well and stays on forever. It doesn't sweat off. I was very impressed. But they got body washes. They got everything, dude. Check them out. But if you do, whatever you use code BEAR2024, BEAR 2024. You get a 20% discount at all times. And you can use that over and over again. You could use it this week. You can use it again next week. Doesn't matter. It's unlimited. But use that. Helps us out and gets you guys a massive discount. And then that's it. So got hearts in the chat. Thank y'all very much. Hopefully we get Tanner back soon. Appreciate y'all. Love you.